Hello. So, I was thinking a few days ago, just about this idea that people talk about, protecting their heart and doing things to make sure that they're okay. And especially if you're a very sensitive person. And, I spent a lot of my life really protecting my heart. I still do now. It's, I'm a very sensitive person. I mean, I can be a crybaby. I can get emotional about things. I'm very sensitive to people. I'm very sensitive to strangers. I'm the type of person that people come up to me and they tell me their whole life story immediately without me even saying anything to them. Like I'm just very sensitive. I've always been very sensitive to people. And that's something that, for a big part of my life was kind of seen as like a bad thing or not the best, or you're gonna get hurt and everything like that. So, and you do get hurt. Obviously, if you're sensitive, you're prone to getting hurt more. You're gonna feel more pain. You're gonna feel more about things in life. It's gonna be difficult for you in that sense. Trying to strike that balance between protecting yourself and also allowing yourself to feel these things and experience things, even if it may hurt you. But what it really made me think about is the fact that we don't give our heart enough credit. Like we're so concerned about protecting it, right? We're so concerned about like, we have to protect your heart. You have to protect your heart. You have to do these things to make sure that it doesn't get broken or it doesn't get this or that. But it's like the heart is so fucking strong. Like, let's just talk about that. We act like having emotions and feelings, empathy, compassion, sympathy, being sensitive, being a very sensitive person, being a kind person, or even just nice, or being crying, expressing these emotions, expressing these things that's in your heart, expressing this loving feeling that you feel for others, for people you care about, for people you don't even know, for animals, for nature, for whatever it is that's out there in this world, coexisting with us. You're constantly acting as if the heart is just this little fragile thing that if we don't like bubble wrap it and keep our eyes on it at all times, it's just going to shatter and break, and it's not going to be able to get itself back up and get itself, back together. It's not going to be able to pick up the pieces. But it's like, that's not true. That's not true at all. The heart just doesn't get enough credit. Our hearts are so resilient. Our feelings and our emotions are so strong and they're powerful. They're amazing, and they're some of our greatest strengths just as human beings. The ability to connect, the ability to love, the ability to forgive, the ability to give of ourselves, to give of our feelings, to give of our honesty, our openness, to give all of ourselves in that moment, that intimacy, that empathy. That is such a strength. It is such a strength that is not valued in the world nowadays and seen as a weakness. And I think that's why so many people are like, oh my God, I don't want my heart to break. Oh my God, I have to protect my heart. I have to protect my heart and everything. But your heart's got it. You know what I mean? It's like, I was thinking lately about just like I said, certain things about life and everything. And I was thinking about the world, and I've always felt very sensitive to the world growing up, and just people, especially like the homeless or anything like that. I'm like getting emotional. So even me saying ill, it's like, why am I saying ill for getting emotional about it? But it's like, these are things that have always touched me and touched my heart. Other people, other things in the world that are just so beautiful, and in different injustices and things in the world that are cruel. And it's like, they touch your heart, and that's okay. And it's not weak to allow these things to penetrate your heart and for you to feel something for it. It's not weak to express what you feel about these things or other people or other places, animals, just the world around you. It's not weak. The heart is not that fragile. The heart can handle it. And I felt this like thing of, knowing that I'm a person that's kind of like for the world. That's my greatest strength, and it's been my strength, for as long as I can remember, since I was a child, being able to connect with others and being able to provide this thing for people kind of naturally in a way where they feel comfortable with me, they feel safe, and they feel understood and heard. And I take that very seriously. And there was a part in my life where I was kind of afraid of it. I was really afraid of it. I felt really hurt by the world. I felt really hurt by other people. I felt really upset and betrayed by the world around me, by people around me. And, that leads you to, obviously, in a way, it was good for me because I needed to learn boundaries. I had a lot of guards up, but I didn't have any boundaries. And boundaries, of course, are always important. You have to use your discernment. There are situations where you do need to protect yourself. There are situations where you do need to protect your heart, your feelings, your time, your peace, your energy, all that stuff. Of course, I'm not saying that. But I feel like a lot of the time we overprotect our heart. We overprotect ourselves because we become so obsessed with this idea that like we just need to hide out. Like, okay, this world is not made for us. This world doesn't work for us. It's not, it doesn't understand us. So we just need to protect, like have this self-preservation to make sure that we can maintain our sanity. And a lot of that ends up going in that way of making ourselves hidden or hiding certain things. And even if we have an authentic expression with, people who are in our immediate lives, or maybe if we do anything of a creative expression, I mean, me just sitting here talking or writing, or I used to sing. So I would sing as a lot of my creative expression. I write poetry, I write songs. So that's a big part of my expression and my creativity. Some people draw, there's so many different ways of expressing yourself. But we're not really like a big part of that expression and being open, right? Being authentic is not hiding that. It's not overly protecting yourself and allowing for these things to come out there in the world and having the confidence and also the trust in your heart, in your emotions, in yourself to know that even if everybody hates it, it doesn't matter. It's not going to shake your foundation. It's not going to fuck you up. It's not going to ruin things and make you stop being who you are. It's not going to stop you from living your life the way that you should or the way that you want to. It's not going to stop you from keeping your heart open. You're not going to look at negative experiences like, okay, well, I just got to close up and hide and spend all my time alone and not be with anybody, not have romantic relationships, not have friendships, cut off all my family, do this or that. And again, in some cases, that's important. I cut off family members when I first went through this phase. I stopped being friends with a lot of people. I stopped hanging out and doing things that I did before. And that was a really important part. Those things were unhealthy for me, and I was also unhealthy for those things. So it wasn't a good dynamic. It wasn't a good environment. But it's like as you keep growing, right, and you keep becoming aware of whatever your skills or your heart in particular, your passion for life, your feelings, your emotions, this sensitivity that is so fucking important. Being sensitive and being considerate of others. I got cut off by my timer for my laundry. Are you guys proud of me? I finally did my laundry. But yeah, being sensitive and having this sensitivity and this understanding and this deep connection to your heart is so important. It's so needed in the world. And yeah, you know what? Like, people don't like it a lot of the time. People don't understand it. A lot of people are disconnected from themselves. A lot of people are not connected to their emotions or feelings. They're not connected to their bodies. They're not connected to what they really want. Or even if they have an inkling of knowing what they really want or who they really are, or what they're supposed to do in this world, they're ignoring it and suppressing it. And, and that's sad and it's unfortunate. And, I'm not saying this with judgment because I've been there. And parts of me are still there where I'm suppressing certain things and certain emotions. And, it's natural for people. It's the whole process of learning and making that conscious choice to open yourself up, to be out there, not to be hidden, not hiding yourself. And, I see a lot of people, we just overprotect our heart. We think our heart is so fragile. We think our heart is so delicate. We think that we're so delicate and fragile. And in some ways we are, and that's okay. But we're also really fucking resilient. We have survived all sorts of stuff that we've been through as people, as human beings. We've survived our own mistakes. We've survived so many things in this world. We've made it through, and we've had to make it through, especially because of our hearts, especially because of this love and this compassion, this sensitivity that we have inside of us. That's what kept us going. It's not anything else. It's the love that we feel. It could be for yourself. It could be for the world. It could be for your pet or your family or your friends or your partner, whatever it is. It's that love and that openness, that willingness to share that emanates from us, that keeps us going. That's what keeps us alive. And, you know, we just have to stop. We have to trust ourselves. We have to trust our heart. We just do. Our heart is not some little tiny porcelain doll. Our hearts are strong, and you know what, if they break, they'll get back up again. I don't even want to say fix themselves. They can put themselves back together. They can pick themselves up. They can dust themselves off. It'll be like, you know, kintsugi, the Japanese form. It's like a Japanese form of I would say pottery, you know, where you drop something and it breaks, and then you meld it back together with gold, and it becomes an even more beautiful, unique piece because it includes those breaks. It includes, you know, the parts of you that maybe had gotten messed up. Everybody has baggage. Everybody has things and issues and stuff that might never go away, but they're beautiful. They're worth it, and they're worth sharing, and you don't have to hide those things. You don't have to, you know, protect your peace so much that you end up literally protecting yourself from the world. You end up hiding yourself. You're not, you know, you're not meant to be hidden. You're not meant to be like, you know, you're not meant to take that rejection from the world. And the world is like, well, the world's not meant for me, so I'm just going to do my own thing, you know, in the comfort of my own house and just not engage with anything. That's not how this works. It's not what it means to be alive and to be human. You have to try to open yourself up again. You have to try to be there, be present with others, even if it's gonna hurt. It's gonna fucking hurt. It just is. But it also can feel really fucking good. It can be absolutely beautiful. Life is so beautiful. It's amazing. It's one of the most incredible phenomena that we get to live. We're living it right now. But if we hide ourselves because of that fear, right? You know, we think that we're free. We think that we're open. We think that we're being authentic, but we're still doing things to hide ourselves from the world, from others, from even ourselves. We don't believe that we're strong enough to stand in this authenticity, this truth, this openness, this love, this passion, whatever it is out there in the world. We're still afraid of, you know, maybe other people's opinions, maybe people questioning our sensitivities, calling us crazy, doing this or that. But, you know, none of that matters. You know, it might hurt still sometimes. It might hurt when you're misunderstood. It might hurt when, you know, things go wrong and you have friends that aren't really your friends sometimes, or you do a job that really isn't for you and doesn't work out the way that you thought, or you know, have to end a relationship with somebody you really love, or they end a relationship with you, or, you know, you can't really have a relationship with a family member anymore, or whatever the case may be, or you have a fight or anything like that, or something bad happens. It's like, you can't escape that. You can't escape no amount of protecting your heart and protecting your peace and doing all this stuff to try and create like this very comfortable, bubbled, like styrofoam wrapped life is not going to protect you from pain. It's inevitable, and that's okay. Our hearts are so fucking resilient. They're so incredible. They're so amazing. And they're waiting for us to put ourselves out there. They want to be out there. They want to express themselves. They want, you know, your heart wants to be heard and seen. Not everybody can see it, and that's okay. But that doesn't mean you just don't put it out there to be seen. You just keep being seen. You keep being heard. You keep putting yourself out there. You keep expressing yourself. And somebody will see you. Something will see you. And most importantly, and more importantly, whichever it is, you see your heart, you trust your heart, and you know what? We've got it. If something happens and I'm hurt, I'm crying, I'm devastated, I don't even know how I'll be able to recover from this, we got this. I know that I can handle it. I know that my heart can handle it. Because for something that's considered so weak and so fragile and so beautiful, you need all of these. You need that sensitivity. You need that emotion. You need that passion, literally to be alive, to keep you going. That's your life force. That's your energy right there. It's just such a misconception, I think, that people have. And the heart, it deserves better. It shouldn't be so underrated, or it's just so untrusted. And I understand, because you can't control the heart. You can't control who you love. You can't control how you're going to feel. You can't control always how your reactions are going to be. And we overly try to control ourselves. We overly try to control our hearts. We overly try to control things and make certain environments and stuff like that, right? Protecting our peace, making our lives do X, Y, and Z, which, again, to some degree is fine and it's needed. It's suitable, it works, and it's beneficial. But when we do so much of that, we're just hiding ourselves. We're just telling ourselves, I don't trust you. I don't trust my heart. And we're also suppressing that want and desire to be seen, to be heard, to express ourselves, to be out there, to love everything and everyone in the world. We're suppressing that by hiding ourselves from being hidden and convincing ourselves that this is how we can be authentic. This is how we can express ourselves in a safe manner. But honestly, it's like when it comes to the heart, nothing is really safe. It's just the truth. Safety is an illusion in that sense. And you're only as safe as you trust yourself to be. Your heart is saying to you, I'm willing to put myself on the line for you. And I know that we'll be okay. That's safety. It's an inner safety. It's an inner trust. It's an inner knowing that no matter what happens, you'll be all right. Just being out there, being yourself. And that's enough. So we got to give the heart more credit. It's an amazing thing. It does everything for us. And we, no matter what anybody says, no matter how difficult it can be and scary, we just got to put it out there. We just do.